Yo, what up, guys? It's Secondary World Productions here, and I know I'm a little behind on this, but I want to talk about the little info dump that we got at D23 back in, I believe, August. It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so, we got news for Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 and how it's coming in February of 2020. Now, it's kind of disappointing. I was hoping it would come sooner than that, but I understand that they're gonna try to make it the best they can be, and I perfectly respect that we're gonna have to wait a little while. We got a ton of news on the Mandalorian, and it really surprised me that that is the thing that I am most excited for out of anything like pop culture related coming out soon. And finally, we got a new trailer for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I have to say, I did not enjoy this trailer as much as I did the first one. I think the first one really set it up to be a grand adventure with our characters, and I was really excited for it. The Palpatine thing was weird, but I'm interested to see where they could take that. This second trailer, in my opinion, didn't really do much for this movie. It had like a collection of like the important scenes of the Skywalker saga, and while I think that was kind of cool, I don't think it was very necessary, and I don't think it was what we wanted to see from a new trailer, our first official trailer. But it's not even really an official trailer, it's another sneak peek, it's another first look. And one of my problems with it is the dark gray thing, all of that, but what I'm here mainly to talk about is what we're supposed to be expecting from this movie, what Disney wants us to expect, and what we really should be expecting. Now, let's get right on into it. Now, Disney has advertised this final movie as the conclusion of all three trilogies. Now, that means the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and of course, the sequel trilogy. Now, what do I think of this? I don't know how they're going to incorporate the prequel and original trilogies into it. Well, I know how they're going to put the original trilogy into it, because honestly, 7 and 8 have really just been rehashes of what we got in the original trilogy. And it doesn't mean they got the same like plot structure, the same emotional narrative, but like the First Order, the Resistance, all of it feels like it's set in like the same way as the original movies. They're not really opening a new chapter or starting something new. They're just continuing what we had before, and not in a very original way. Now, Episode 9, I feel like it's gonna have to make up a lot of ground that the other two movies didn't really do, because they didn't really expand this universe a lot or anything like that. And that's not to say that they weren't like at least decent movies. Well, one of them was, but we'll get to that in another video. But I feel like that Episode 9 has, a lot of work to do if it really wants to complete this trilogy. A very important thing about it is, it's homage to the other two trilogies, and I think it can pull that off really well. I think a lot of references in 7 and 8 were really well done, and I can't wait to see what they do with this movie. It's got to bring our current characters to a close, and it works really well that they're having all of them together and not splitting them up. I think that's going to work really well for bringing these characters for one last, hurrah, one last thing, and, concluding their characters. And that's what Return of the Jedi, my favorite Star Wars movie, did really well. I don't know, I trust J.J. Abrams to do the same. The next thing I want to talk about is, the Emperor, and I don't know really how the Emperor fits into Episode 9, but he really obviously fits into the prequel, original, and sequel trilogy. He was the villain of both of those trilogies, and while it doesn't really make a lot of logical sense why he's here, for the emotional context and the idea of this film, it makes perfect sense. He's the main villain of the Star Wars universe. Not Darth Vader. Darth Vader might be the main character, but he's not the main villain. In the end, he redeemed himself. But, of course, that didn't last long, because, 30 years later, we're back at it again. In the mine. Got our pickaxe swinging from side to side. I should not have put that in. Is that going in? That better not go in. Anyway, something I find very wrong with the last trailer is this dark Rey thing, I don't think it serves her character at all. Rey has proven so far to be a very, you know, like, light, you know, very, pure-hearted character, you could say. She hasn't really done anything wrong yet, and I do think a challenge of her morals would be good, because honestly her character was kind of flat in, the last movie, but, I think, you know, this is just taking it too far. She's not, you know, a Sith, and, I don't really think that J.J. Abrams is, you know, a very visionary director. I don't think he's going to take the risk of making such an executive decision, twisting the plot this much, where Rey becomes a Sith. And if she does, it's either going to be in a vision, or like for 5 minutes until our characters, you know, somehow magically redeem her, or something film like that. So, I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I think it's just a good way to get people into the movie like, wow, it's Dark Rey. I don't understand that. I think it was a bad idea to keep it, or to put it in the trailer, if you even want to call it a trailer. You know, JJ, I respect him. I think he's a decent director. There's obviously the lens flare meme, which really takes you out of the movie, because, you know, it's the, because you can see the lens flare with the blinding light. No, you know, I still like him. I think he was pretty good at Force Awakens, if not a little, you know, weird. You know, he did direct Lost, which is very, well known for misdirection and very poorly set up, mysteries. But honestly, I don't think he did it too poorly, and I think a lot of the stuff that we're still wondering about will get answered in the Rise of Skywalker, and I think we'll be pretty happy about it. I have decently high hopes for this film. Return of the Jedi will always be my favorite, most likely, but I think if it can capture that same like magic of just ending the trilogy like that, ending the entire Star Wars saga, if it can capture even a little bit of that magic, I will be happy with this film. I think overall, D23 was very uplifting for Star Wars fans, especially those who were upset at the newest content and stuff like that. I wasn't, you know, particularly mad, but I wasn't impressed with anything that's come out recently. But I think this will set Star Wars back on track to be the best franchise in the world. Eat your heart out, Marvel. That's all I have for now.